king of kids.
Hello and welcome. I'm Giovanni Hart, and today we're going to be drawing this sketching and having a chill session. All right, let's get into it.
Kids TV, but these days the mouse is barely hanging on. Disney's ratings have tanked, the magic is fading, and its reign is all but over. So what happened? Was it the rise of a certain sponge, shifting viewer habits, the streaming wars, or did its worst enemy turn out to be itself? On today's episode of the Infographic Show, we're revealing why the Disney Channel is failing. There is no brand that has a tighter grip on the imagination of American kids than Disney. From an early age, there's a good chance that the first movie they see in theaters will feature that famous castle. Whether it's an animated fairy tale, a Pixar adventure, or a live-action remake of a movie their parents loved. And then there's the theme parks. Walt Disney World and Disneyland are rites of passage for many kids. And let's be honest, their parents are happy to have an excuse to head back to their favorite childhood spot. So it was only a matter of time before they broke into TV. Disney has had a foothold in television for a long time. As early as 1954, it was airing anthology series on network television, often with tie-ins to the theme parks. These television movies and documentaries aired on ABC and NBC, with the company purchasing the former network in the 1990s. It would also start producing cartoons directly for television, many of which aired on Saturday mornings or weekday syndication. Soon, that iconic intro was associated with safe TV for the little ones, and the parents felt okay sitting them in front of the TV for some wholesome family entertainment. And soon, it would take the next step. Disney Channel first dropped on the air in 1983, aiming its programming at children and younger adolescents. It started slowly, airing a combination of movies and television shows from its large archive. These were joined by a trickle of originals that became more and more successful. Soon, they were airing original cartoons, sitcoms, and television movies that were perfectly targeted to their core audience and their parents. Suddenly, cable television, which was mostly the province of adults until then, was becoming a sensation among kids. If you didn't have it, you were likely begging your parents for it. And it turned into a massive sensation. Disney Channel took off like wildfire, and it only got bigger from there. At its peak in 2011, 100 million American households had a cable TV package that included the Disney Channel, one of the largest footprints of any premium channel. After nearly 40 years of existence, it had become a part of childhood for multiple generations. Many of its programs and stars were household names, and some of its most popular properties were coming back for revivals. On the surface, things looked very bright, but under the surface, trouble was brewing. Today, the ratings for Disney Channel are a shadow of their former self. Although the channel still has a huge footprint, it's in 70 million households, but the average viewership each day is down to 98,000, almost 40,000 below its arch-rival Nickelodeon. That puts it as the 63rd most-watched channel on TV overall, and no one is sure if it's ever going to pull itself out of this spiral. Because the one thing that makes a channel succeed is if it has programming that really draws viewership, and most of Disney Channel's content these days is geared more toward nostalgia. No matter how old a Disney Channel fan is, the odds are they have fond memories of one era of the channel's content. For those who jumped on early, the channel was heavily populated by shows from syndication or Disney's history. That meant a constant stream of beloved cartoons, starring characters like Winnie the Pooh, Chip and Dale, Darkwing Duck, Goofy and his son Max, and then there was DuckTales, Woo Woo, and Gargoyles, both of which spawned original mythologies. Sure, not everything hit the mark. There was a Mighty Ducks spinoff that turned the underdog hockey players into hockey-playing duck alien refugees from another planet, but somehow it was enough to get people hooked, and it would only be uphill from there. Disney Channel actually kept a slightly lower profile in the 1980s and 1990s. Most of their cartoons were either syndicated or based on existing properties, and few of their TV movies made a lasting cultural impact, especially since many focused on historical adventures with a more dramatic tone. After all, they had a massive audience just by being Disney, and it was a big event when their most popular movies of their era would make their cable debut. No more shelling out $25 for a VHS tape, Mom and Dad. It was the dream, making a big profit for a relatively small sum, and it gave Disney the capital they needed to make a big push as the new millennium approached. But no one was prepared for just how big this would get. Disney Channel would soon make its first big step into the world of original cable-exclusive cartoons in 2001.
Little Red Riding Hood. Let's start the story a different way. It was dark inside the wolf. Human beings are creative storytelling beings. They make art because that's what human beings do. As a writer, your goal is to keep your reader believing in your story, even though both of you know it's fiction. When I wrote The Handmaid's Tale, nothing went into it that had not happened in real life somewhere at some time. The reason I made that rule is that I didn't want anybody saying, you certainly have an evil imagination, you made up all these bad things. I didn't make them up. If you really do want to write and you're struggling to get started, you're afraid of something, remember, it's only you and the page. The wastepaper basket is your friend. It was invented for you by God. People are always coming up with new theories of the novel, but the main rule is, hold my attention. Any form of human creativity is a process of doing it and getting better at it. You become a writer by writing. There is no other way. So do it more, do it better. Fail better. Somewhere out there are the readers for your book. I'm Margaret Atwood, and this is my masterclass.
And they just ban a bunch of her books, unfortunately. The Handmaid's Tale. Saw some of the headlines. Let's go rough pose out this drawing. It's been a while since I drew anything. Still want to do some more chummy fan art. But we'll see who will make this is. To be. I haven't done drawing.
At Vistaprint, we print signs so people can see your brand up close. But we also print signs so that people can see your business here, see it here, and see it here, so you stand out. Even when they're way back here. Get 20% off signs and banners at Vistaprint.ca.
With The Proud Family, this animated sitcom got tons of critical praise for its depiction of a multi-generational black family and a diverse friend group. It was followed less than a year later with the biggest hit of the early Disney Channel era, Kim Possible, an action-adventure cartoon starring a teenage super spy. A spin-off of hit movie Lilo and Stitch soon followed, and this threefer would bring a lot of new fans to the network. The other original cartoons of the first decade of the 2000s didn't find the same level of success, but it didn't matter, because the hits that put Disney Channel on the map weren't cartoons at all. This was the era where Disney Channel also started investing heavily in live-action sitcoms, and they actually beat the cartoons to the air. After all, they were cheaper, and Disney had no shortage of young stars that they could cast from their various reality shows. While a few early attempts did make a big impact, the first hit, Even Stevens, in 2000, launched the careers of Christy Carlson Romano and Shia LaBeouf as a mismatched pair of siblings. LaBeouf would go on to have a successful but controversial movie career, and from there it was off to the races. The 2000s had a cavalcade of wildly successful live-action sitcoms. Lizzie McGuire, about a teenager with a rich fantasy life, launched Hilary Duff into stardom. That's So Raven, about a psychic teen, was a big comeback act for former Cosby Show star Raven Simone. The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody was a broad wish fulfillment comedy about twin brothers living in an elaborate luxury hotel. And then the trend hit the stratosphere with Hannah Montana, which launched superstar Miley Cyrus into her music career. It also led to vehicles for up-and-coming singer-actors Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, and the Jonas Brothers, who were all on the network as of 2010. This trend would dominate the network for the next decade, and many would say would push the cartoons off to the side and strip the channel of a lot of its charm. But money talks, and the channel's biggest success was yet to come. Although Disney Channel original movies, then called Disney Channel Premiere Films, were airing on the network since its debut, the channel started shifting its focus in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Gone were the historical dramas and inspirational tales. They were replaced with hip, modern adventures like inline skating dramedy Brink and teen horror movie Halloween Town, both of which were hits in 1998. The latter, along with sci-fi comedy Xenon Girl of the 21st Century, would spawn several sequels, By the early 2000s, the company would regularly drop a dozen or so original movies direct to Disney Channel. This would largely bring an end to the company's live-action
Embrace
comedy
curves
division
over
in
here.
theaters. Remember Jungle to Jungle? Anyone? But the channel was about to hit on a gold mine that no one was prepared for. In the early 2000s, these movies saw a surge in popularity. Even Stevens got a movie spinoff, and Hilary Duff took on a new leading role in Cadet Kelly, where her character is sent to military school. And animated hits like Kim Possible and The Proud Family received feature-length films of their own. But then, in 2006, came the movie that would launch a franchise, High School Musical. Starring Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens as a mismatched high school couple, its tale of a popular basketball star who wanted to audition for the school play became a national obsession. Its songs charted, and the movie spawned 2 sequels. The third movie actually went to theaters and became a hit, a first for the network. Other musicals would follow, including the Demi Lovato starring Camp Rock and the Cheetah Girls franchise based on a popular kid-lit series. And with all these hits, the channel was going to be grateful for some more real estate. The massive growth of the Disney Channel led them to create 2 spin-offs, each one of them with hits of their own. Disney XD, the first, would be aimed at a growing audience for the network, teenage boys. This channel, which launched in 2009, would focus on action-oriented sitcoms, movies, and cartoons. It would have its first big hit with The Spectacular Spider-Man, a more character-driven take on the web-slinger in 2009. It gained a bigger audience with the sci-fi adventure Star Wars Rebels, which introduced a cast of new Jedi and rogues to the Lucasfilms franchise. While few of its live-action properties were big hits, the channel found huge success with content from Disney's biggest franchises. And of
Okay.
course, we cannot forget about the children. Disney Junior, which launched in 2013, is a separate space for preschool-focused content, with most shows airing in shorter 11-minute episodes. They focus on teaching kids relatable life lessons, often with a song or two. While these shows didn't have big-name
Interesting.
stars, they did have something more: toy appeal. Many of them became marketing sensations, like the network's signature show Doc McStuffins, about a little girl running a toy hospital. It was followed by Sophia the First, which featured guest appearances from the Disney princesses and spin-offs from Peter Pan and the Lion King. However, the network's biggest hit was one they didn't produce, the Australian dog sitcom Bluey, which became the
my
hottest
God,
show in
Bluey's
town for
everywhere.
preschoolers in the 2020s. But was Disney
Bluey
getting too
is
big for its own
everywhere.
good? With 3 networks, each of them cranking out dozens of shows, the company had something for everyone. But then its output started to shift. It had several new hit cartoons, including the dense and wacky Phineas and Ferb, which saw 2 stepbrothers spending their summer vacation building mad science inventions. There was also Gravity Falls, which sent twin
That's a good
siblings to a
series.
spooky town in the Pacific Northwest for their own summer adventure. Both were cultural phenomena, although Gravity Falls' darker tone saw it detailed to Disney XD for its second season, where it became more of a cult hit among an older audience.
Yeah.
That was where a big shift in
true.
Disney Channel's audience took place. With the younger skewing cartoons segregated on Disney Junior, Disney Channel shifted its focus to more nostalgia-driven cartoons.
Thanks for
A
appreciate that.
revival of DuckTales and sequel spin-offs to Tangled and Big Hero 6
I've been taking these scores for the past
Big Hero
30 days, and
6
it's been
was
absolutely amazing.
one
It's
of the
called 100
first
Shades of Code.
Disney
comes with
movies where it's
Python
like,
Pro.
okay,
as well as more
I'm gonna interrupt here. It was like, okay, this is something I really want to watch. It breaks the formula of like the princess girl or the girl with the animal companion. Because I just remember growing up watching Disney. Other thing of Disney was just like, oh, there's always a girl, a princess, or some kind of royal background, an animal companion. To me, that was like Disney movies. But then Big Hero 6 came, I was like, okay, nothing wrong with that. I just want something different. Big Hero 6 was like different. It's like, okay, this is what Disney can do, and it was very cool. It's like DreamWorks stuff, where it's like switching it up. I think Disney needs a bit more of, but it is what it is. But Disney is still doing their thing. They just need more interesting stories. Switch up the formula.
Star Wars shows brought teenagers and adults to the network, and the company struggled to balance its new audience with its target viewers. Many of these new shows were heavily serialized, while Disney Channel's MO was designed to have shows be easy to watch as soon as a kid flicks on the television. This led to many conflicts with showrunners. Gravity Falls' Alex Hirsch eventually shared all the editorial notes he received from Disney and the DuckTales executive producer, complaining about episodes being aired out of order. But it wasn't just the audience that was changing, it was television itself. It might be hard to remember now, but Disney Channel was a revolution when it debuted. A whole network of nothing but Disney whenever you wanted it, not just
Yeah,
at
that was
specific times.
interesting.
But even that felt a little restrictive by the middle of the 2010s. After all, what if you wanted to watch Gravity Falls, but it was time for DuckTales to air? And for once,
Yeah,
Disney was
scheduled
starting to
TV.
get left behind. Streaming services like Netflix and Hulu were giving people exactly what they wanted when they wanted it.
Yep.
And they were pulling the audience's
I think
attention
that was
away
one of the
from
biggest
cable.
appeal to me
And Disney knew
about
it had to
streaming
join the fray.
services.
Disney Plus
They
was
were
the
cheaper.
biggest new launch from
Now it's
Disney
too
in ages.
expensive. I don't
An
have
all-in-one
any.
streaming service that was
I
initially
might
less than $10 a month.
resubscribe. There's
And
like a
while it
short
didn't
movie
launch
to
with too
finish.
much original content, it didn't need it. It
But
had
one
80
appeal,
years
so-
of Disney content to drop when it debuted in
One of
20...
the appeals of streaming was, especially Netflix when it started, there's so many shows we can watch what you want to watch when you want to watch it. But back then, watching cartoons like after 6 was like a novelty. Because back then it would just be like after like go to school, Saturday mornings, and then a small time block from like 3 to 6. Was it 6 or 5? Like that small time block. You were able to watch cartoons, and after that, it was nothing. Unless you had like cable TV or a streaming service. But yeah, Netflix, when that first came out, I was so impressed. Honestly, it has a better selection now, but I feel like with everyone having their streaming service, Netflix kind of lost its appeal. Because you used to watch everything on there. But now, Disney Plus exists. They don't really need to license their stuff onto Netflix. Then Amazon, Hulu, they all have their own streaming services. There's stuff on there I want to watch, but I just want to pay that much on subscriptions just to watch one show. They might have like each one of them have like a hit show I love to watch. For example, Amazon, The Boys, and they have some good animations and stuff on there. Then Disney Plus, the Marvel stuff, which is dope, and like their classic Disney animation shows. Then Netflix, Stranger Things, but I don't know. I feel like these days you gotta be more careful with your dollar. You can have all of them, but it's probably not the best idea. Yeah, we'll keep going.
2019. And while it didn't include everything, with plenty of obscure old movies and problematic cartoons left out, it still offered more than enough to keep every subscriber watching for a very long time. And it would do its best to bring back the old must-see TV slogan. Disney Plus took a massive swing when it started bringing in original TV series spinning out of its most popular movie franchises. It launched with The Mandalorian, a story from the world of Star Wars that introduced the fan base to Grogu, better known as Baby Yoda, and the most marketable little guy of all time. Several other Star Wars shows would follow, including a Boba Fett spinoff and The Gritty Andor, which got an Emmy nomination for Best Drama. And then there was Marvel, which saw standalone miniseries for Scarlet Witch, Captain America, Hawkeye, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, and more. But there was an unexpected problem in the wings. Disney had inadvertently made things too complicated. Stories from some of the Marvel miniseries were continued into movies, and many people who didn't watch one or the other found themselves confused. This led to the new Captain Marvel and Captain America movies disappointing at the box office. Star Wars, meanwhile, hasn't had a theatrical movie since 2019, but that'll be changing in 2026 with the Mandalorian and Grogu spin-off. However, some recent Star Wars series like The Acolyte haven't got the buzz of the others, with that one even being canceled after one season. And when Disney Plus says it's got something for...
It's not crafty.
All I remember for
It's
Star Wars right now is
It's not DIY. It's do it yourself on Wix.
we'll see. We'll probably change that. This is just a filler.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done in a list view. Next, I set a priority and a due date to keep things on track. I create custom statuses to organize my progress exactly how I want it. I like to add the action items field so AI can show me the next steps. I add my teammates as watchers so they're in the loop. ClickUp makes work easy, from personal projects to running a multi-billion-dollar company. Click the link below to create your workspace for free.
This should be a. I'm not sure
For
who I'm
everyone,
gonna draw
that
yet.
might not be a
We'll
good
just
thing.
use Chun-Li
One of
as a
Disney's
filler.
biggest hallmarks is family-friendly entertainment, and the streaming service
Like
has
John
had
Trump.
other original programming, like spin-offs of High School Musical and The Santa Claus. But if you look on the front page today, you won't just find cartoons and Marvel movies. You'll find sports documentaries, rude and crude comedies like Family Guy, and even mature audience dramas like The Handmaid's Tale and Criminal Minds. This is because Disney now owns Hulu as well, and it has largely merged the two streaming services' content, ensuring that you can watch gritty crime thrillers in between your episodes of DuckTales. And for the parents, that is a big problem. While Disney does offer content filtering for the streaming service, letting parents turn off mature audiences' content, not everyone knows about it, and so the streaming service has become more of a risky bet for parents. And that, combined with the increase in price to well over $10 for the most popular plan, has led it to decline in popularity.
Yeah.
There's also been an increasing fear that the direct-to-streaming shows aren't profitable enough. Marvel and Star Wars have both slowed down their TV output, with the next Mandalorian story headed straight to theaters. Meanwhile, Disney's animation team took 5 planned episodes of a Moana TV series and then stitched them into a single film and turned it into a billion-dollar box office hit. And that's leading to an even bigger question.
Yeah,
Who is
back
all
then
this for anymore?
they used to make a
Disney Channel
movie,
is still going
and
strong
then you got a
and not
TV
likely
show
to close
from
down
it. Like,
anytime
like
soon.
Lilo and Stitch.
Similar to Nickelodeon,
Or-
it still has a chokehold on the
I think
nostalgia
they did
buttons
one
of
for
multiple
what's it
generations.
called?
But all 3 networks have taken a big
I think
hit
they
in
did one
ratings.
for what's that one
Disney
show?
Channel is still the highest rated
Angle.
at an average of 98,000 viewers, with Disney Junior clocking in 13 slots lower at 55,000. Disney XD is way down at number 142 with only 24,000 viewers, and currently airs most of its content in reruns from the Disney Channel. And across the platform, there are growing worries. Disney relies heavily on being a trusted name for parents, but in recent years it's appealing more and more to teenagers and Disney adults. That was especially evident in 2 shows that aired on the Disney Channel in the early
Now the
2020s,
term Disney
one of
adults
which was
almost
created
like-
by a former storyboard artist on Gravity Falls. Amphibia, a story
I keep
about
hearing
3
the
girls
term
who wind
Disney
up
adult.
trapped in a world of
It's just
talking
not a good
frogs,
light.
courted controversy with a shockingly dark season 2 finale that saw one of the girls seemingly killed in a shocking betrayal.
Oh, yeah,
The
actually,
episode
I
was
watched
deemed
that
so
series.
unsettling that Disney actually delayed the season finale for a month, aired it with a disclaimer, and then spoiled the character's survival in an early season 3 trailer. But hey, at least the show didn't make national news. Amphibia's sister show, The Owl House, saw a misfit girl wind
Actually,
up in a world
Amphibious
of
was actually
witches,
pretty good.
monsters, and magic.
I
The
was
show was
surprised
massively
that's some
acclaimed as a
mature things in it.
groundbreaking series
It was
for
actually
its
pretty
deep
good.
mythology and likable characters.
Liked it.
But it also raised a fair amount of controversy for its genocidal witch hunter villain, as well as the fact that its main character was the first openly bisexual Disney lead, who later found her first love with a young witch. The show was protested by right-wing groups and nearly canceled after its second season cliffhanger. However, the network did greenlight a trio of finale movies for the character to wrap up the story. And that raises the question, who is Disney for anymore? If you go to the parks these days, you might be greeted with an unusual sight. Alongside the usual families, you'll find couples without kids and solo adult travelers living their best lives. They're riding the rides, taking selfies with Winnie the Pooh, and proudly wielding selfie sticks like magic wands. These so-called Disney adults get plenty of side-eye from traditional family-goers, but Disney embraces them. They binge buy souvenirs
See?
like there is no tomorrow. And
That's
as
the
yesterday's
thing.
Disney
I keep hearing this whole Disney adult thing. Well, I'm not mad at it. Like, I can see, like, Disney's very expensive. I can see, like, a lot of young adults or adults who never got the chance to go to Disney World as a kid. Is it fair to exclude them? I think it's only an issue if they start, pushing kids out the way, which I don't think that's everybody. But just thinking, hey, on the fact that there's adults there enjoying Disney World is kind of weird. It all depends.
Channel kids become today's Disney adults, that nostalgia market may become the future. But can it save the Disney Channel? The channels are not going off the air anytime soon. While they've lost a lot of ratings since their heyday, all of cable is declining. But if you look at the 3 networks, they're all running a lot less original content than they used to. Disney XD isn't defunct, but it is essentially out of the in-house production business. The only original content it airs now is typically imported, licensed shows. Disney Junior currently runs 12 in-house original series, all designed to be episodic short-form television done in simple CGI animation. But at the OG, the outlook might be a little more cloudy. Disney Channel does still have a good amount of original content. Phineas and Ferb was given a 5th season, along with Disney's current cash cow shows Big City Greens and Kif, both of which
Oh, yeah,
lean
Big
into
City
more
Greens, that's
episodic
actually
comedy
pretty
storytelling. It also
like that
has
one.
Chibiverse, a sketch comedy show that features crossovers between many of its most popular shows past and present. But it's been canceling a lot of shows, including ending 3 shows after only 1 season: The Time Travel Adventures of Haley's On It, the controversial family comedy Primos, and reportedly the mad scientist summer camp comedy Stugo. That makes many people wonder if they're getting out of the original cartoon business.
You know your
Yeah.
business better than anyone, right? So why not build an app to run it with Base 44? This finance app solves your business headaches,
Just the
tracking
animation side of
invoices,
things are
managing
not as
clients,
possible,
keeping payments in check,
unfortunately.
all in one place. Go to Base
Which is
44 and
sad
write your
for me,
prompts,
'cause I
what your
love
app should do, how it should look,
animation
and the
all
problems
stuff.
it should solve.
That's
They
why I
starts
studied it.
generating your app right in front of you. Invoice list, client profiles, payment tracking. It's like watching a team of developers, designers, and a business coach bring your idea to life. Now let's make it even better by adding features that fit exactly how you work. I'll add scan receipts, digitize them, and add to expenses. Now I can snap a photo and it's logged instantly. No more manual expense entry. Finally, let's add an expenses prediction dashboard that forecasts monthly and yearly costs. Now you've got an app tailored to your
Sure,
business
Lily's
needs,
eyes
built
smell
around the way you work. Start with your idea. Base 44
Yeah,
does the
filler.
rest.
Placeholder until we can finish this.
All right, Gabby from Vegas, let's go ahead and pack your concentrate orders. So your brownie batter went back in stock today, so you went ahead and got 2 of those bottles. And then you got some white chocolate mocha, and then a fan favorite. Where did it go? Oh, there it is, caramel brulee. One of these in the warehouse broke this morning, and let me tell you, it smells just like actual brownie batter. Then I'm gonna go home and make some brownies tonight. Okay, and with that bundle she found, it comes with a free mystery gift, and we're gonna go ahead and put the mystery gift in. This is a magic tumbler right here. I love how it fits perfectly in our new boxes. A recipe booklet on top, and I'll just tuck your spoon right here. And as always, your order is packed with love. We would love to watch you unbox this if you happen to get it and feel called to make a Stitch response. Go ahead and send that to us. We'll give you an extra discount code. Okay, Gabby, we really hope you enjoy your
This
order.
rough
And if you
pulls
want
us
to be
out
like
here.
Gabby and get one of these awesome bundles, make sure to click this link for the sale she found. It ends this weekend.
Actually, I was thinking of this other character.
But
I
if
might
so,
change her
what'll
to-
they replace it with? In recent years, Disney Channel has detailed a lot of its original content to Disney+. This includes the revival of The Proud Family that got a much more mixed reception, and a sequel to Wizards of Waverly
we love
Place
Chun-Li
that
over
brought
here.
back some of the original cast. Both air on Disney+ first, followed by airings on Disney Channel. The channel also did a sequel series to That's So Raven titled Raven's Home, which ended in 2023. But aside from revivals, the network only has one current live-action original, the musical comedy Electric Bloom, focused on a famous band reminiscing about their teen years. It only debuted in July 2025, so it's still too early to say if it'll be a hit. Part of the problem might be an increasingly critical eye on child actors in recent years, with many saying the environment isn't healthy for young actors, and it sets them up for trouble as they hit adulthood. And that's something Disney knows all too well, with the controversies that LaBeouf, Lovato, and Cyrus have been embroiled in over the years. So the next generation of Disney Channel sitcoms may not be happening. And the movie division isn't closing up, but it's not looking too healthy. Down a ton from its heyday of a dozen or so original Disney Channel movies, the network now typically airs under 5 a year. Most are sequels to existing franchises, like Descendants, which focuses on the children of the Disney villains,
save
or
it real
Zombies, which sees creatures of the night going to high school. A few originals have also been sent to Disney+, but the network is relying increasingly heavily on reruns and other low-cost content, and many longtime fans are wondering what the channel can do to get its mojo back. And there might not be an easy answer. While Disney Channel may be a shadow of its former self, almost everyone else is as well. All the cartoon-based cable
Yeah,
networks have
Cartoon
lost an
Network used to be
overwhelming majority
big.
of their viewership. And all of the streaming services are struggling to figure out how to make a profit with original content and cut costs. So it's
The reason
likely that
is there's
Disney
too
will
much streaming
continue to cut
services.
back
We
on
don't have the
Disney
money.
Channel and rely
That's much.
heavily on the goodwill they've already built with audiences over the last 4 decades. After all, they still have a few dozen shows they can reboot. And that break glass in case of emergency sign on Kim Possible is looking awfully inviting. Turns out Mickey Mouse isn't the only icon struggling to stay relevant. Ronald McDonald is facing his own crisis too. Check out the real reason McDonald's is failing to see how the golden arches are crumbling. Or click on this video instead.
This is the last segment. The last part of it, part 3. They said 2027, which is so sad.
We ain't never gonna stop. You can't touch this vibe. From the bottom to the top.
Oh boy. What else we got here? We're almost done the sketch, which I'm happy with. It's a real rough sketch. We'll keep going. We'll just put something on in the background. Okay. I'm gonna save here real quick. Save. So you can draw, huh? Yes. All roads lead to Rome. Yes. Yes, I like to draw. Yeah, I like to draw. That's the main reason I have this page. Post artwork, and then a little bit of video gaming here and there. Just something to do for fun.
And in his first official appearance in Super Mario World, he basically functioned as little more than a cute mount for swallowing Goombas and being sacrificed mercilessly into lava pits. But he quickly became a fan favorite, earning spin-off titles and even a starting position in the Smash franchise. He's iconic for inhaling just about anything and turning them instantly into an egg, including babies. Yep, he can even eat Baby Mario. Revenge and babies never tasted so sweet. So what exactly is this baby-eating reptilian? Well, in the original Japanese version of Super Mario World, Yoshi writes us a letter in the message box just outside of his house. He signs it Super Dragon Yoshi. Supporting the idea that Yoshi here is a dragon instead of a dinosaur is the fact that there are dragon coins hidden throughout the stages in this game. Coins that, wouldn't you know it, have Yoshi's face on them. That said, those are really the only two major instances of Yoshi being considered a dragon. In pretty much every other media item since then, he's considered a dinosaur. In Smash Bros. 64, his trophy reads, quote, Yoshi is the friendly dinosaur. In Melee, again, quote, Yoshis are gentle, fleet-of-foot dinosaurs, end quote. And going back to that original appearance in Super Mario World, both the English and Japanese have the setting of the game as Dinosaur Land, with Yoshi listed as a young dinosaur in the original manuals. It's also worth noting that most, if not all, the enemies in Mario games can be simplified into an animal or plant inspiration. For instance, all the other residents of Dinosaur Land, Reznor, Rex, and Dino Rhino, all of them have clear counterparts in IRL prehistory. Reznor, duh, it's a Triceratops. Though the name of Rex might make you think that this guy is a T-Rex that Miyamoto slapped some wings onto and called it an enemy, the design is actually riffing on the Ceratosaurus. They both have horns on their snouts, walk on two legs, have teeth that hang out of their mouths, and were likely two-toned from their belly to their back. Heck, Rex's height in-game even matches the real-life height of the Ceratosaurus, just slightly over that of a fully grown man. Lastly, the Dino Rhinos are pretty clearly Protoceratops, albeit a little bit larger, with its stocky quadruped body, hornless head, and bird-like little beak. So where does this leave Yoshi then? It doesn't really have any defining traits that clearly harken back to dinosaurs that we know about off the top of our heads, so what is it exactly? Let's start by defining Yoshi's characteristics. Yoshi is oh so taller than Mario at 175 centimeters, established in an earlier video, with smooth green skin along his back and a white underbelly, red spikes along the spine that lead to his shell, which was originally a saddle, so I'm gonna take that one with a grain of salt. Speaking of eggs, Yoshis are born from a hard shell egg, as shown in its hatching animation in Super Mario World for the SNES. Note the egg cracking and it's chipping away. Its head is very large, especially around the nose. He has a thick, stocky tail, and the species can be found in all sorts of climates throughout the Mushroom Kingdom, from scorching deserts to freezing tundra. And last, but certainly not least, we have Yoshi's long, prehensile tongue that it uses to snatch up Bowser's underlings. So with that arsenal of information, we can quickly and systematically narrow down what Yoshi is using. Drumroll, please. Ooh, that's 2 drum rolls in the same episode. Very special.
Yeah,
I should
yeah,
probably get to
yeah,
what I'm about to
really
reveal,
bad.
which I guarantee is going to be underwhelming. Cladistics! The classification of animals and plants according to the characteristics that they have in common. Come on, guys, that is totally worth a drum roll. You remember cladistics from school, right? Domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, and all that? Well, if you've forgotten it, or you never learned it because no one's learning from any of the online classes that are going on right now, here's the mnemonic device that you won't forget. Drunken kangaroos punch children on family game shows. Or, you know what, there's always the classic, Dear King Philip came over for great sausage. I think you can replace that with the appropriate word, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anyway, what all this is going to do is let us narrow down what Yoshi is so we can put him alongside the appropriate similar creature. Just to cover our bases, I'm going to start with the highest level of classification.
Yeah, I like
Yoshi
this better.
is eukaryotic, meaning that its cells have a membrane-bound nucleus, placing it under the domain of eukarya. Its kingdom is Animalia, since it's a multicellular animal, and it must be in the phylum Chordata because Yoshi has a backbone. Now, those are 3 super broad classifications, but in those 3 quick steps, we've already eliminated about 97% of all animals on Earth. That really puts things in perspective, doesn't it? Philosophy aside and phylogeny back on the table, we now get into the segments of classification that are based on physical traits and characteristics. We established before that Yoshi is a dinosaur, so that puts him in the class of Sauropsida, the classification where you find reptiles and birds. From here, things start to get a bit dicey though. There are 2 orders that we can put Yoshi into, Sauriskia or Ornithskia, meaning lizard-hipped or bird-hipped respectively, and as you can imagine, this is based off the structure of the animal's pelvis. Really, the difference boils down to the placement of the pubis. The pubis, not...
Goldfish,
Oh,
juice
okay.
boxes, cookies, all the food
What rhymes
groups.
like that?
This bone right here, the pubis bone. But how do we possibly check out Yoshi's pubis placement? Well, when it comes time to look at the skeletons of fictional video game creatures, there's only one place to turn to: Super Smash Bros. 64 and Pikachu's shock ability. Oh no. Oh, that's horrific. Yoshi not only doesn't have a pubis, he literally doesn't have a pelvis. He is completely comprised of ribs, apparently. Just a big old walking rib cage. So, okay, maybe Nintendo hasn't really given us an official, accurate read on the state of Yoshi's skeletal system, so we're gonna need to tackle this problem a different way. The order Ornithskia is comprised of the ornithopods, Marginocephalia, and Thyreophora. Now, don't worry if those words mean nothing to you. I'm barely holding their pronunciations together myself. I literally just looked up how to pronounce them all just so I didn't butcher them completely. I'm just gonna simplify them for you. Ornithopods are dinosaurs that primarily walked on 2 legs, ate plants, and have a little beak like the iguanodon or the Dryosaurus. Marginocephalia are pretty much the dinosaurs with funny-looking skulls, the bony frills on the back of their head like a triceratops, or that little ring that you see on those ramming guys that always appear in the Jurassic Park movies. Those guys, by the way, are called the Pachycephalosaurus, and they always make me think that they have a bald spot on the top of their head, right? Like, whoops, someone forgot to put their toupee on. And lastly, there are the Thyreophorians, which mean shield bearers. These are the guys with body armor, like the Ankylosaurus and the Stegosaurus. And looking across all 3 of these categories, Yoshi doesn't fit any of them. He doesn't have a beak or any sort of weird skull extensions outside of that enormous nose of his, and he doesn't have any sort of scaly body armor. So by process of elimination, he's pretty solidly in the Sauriskia order, which itself is broken down into 2 main sub.
I'm gonna end the stream right here. This is a rough sketch posing I used to reference and stuff. I'm gonna change it up some more. Then go back and clean it up some more. I think we're doing either change it to Chun-Li or different character, but I just use Chun-Li as a placeholder right now. Yeah, simple pose right there. Beach vibes. Alright, I'm gonna end the stream right here. Again, I am Giovanni Hart. You can follow me on Instagram, Blue Sky, Tumblr, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and Patreon for more exclusive stuff. Links are in the bio. Alright, I'll see you guys on next stream. Have a good one. Bye.